July 12, 2025. Washington, D.C. was tense, the air thick with anticipation. All eyes were on the Supreme Court, where a decision on presidential power and tariffs was about to be announced. Crowds gathered, factory workers chanting, "Save our jobs," and small business owners holding signs reading, "Tariffs hurt us all." For some, tariffs meant hope, factories reopening, jobs returning, pride restored. For others, they meant hardship, higher prices, lost contracts, and shuttered stores. The city buzzed with anxiety. Reporters waited, politicians braced for impact. The case, American Importers Alliance versus United States, would decide if the president could unilaterally impose sweeping tariffs. The stakes were enormous: jobs, prices, and the very balance of power in government. Inside, 9 justices prepared to deliver a ruling that could reshape American economic policy for a generation. The country, divided and anxious, held its breath. Would the president's authority be upheld, or would the court draw a line? The answer was moments away. The gavel was about to fall. The case began with President Trump's aggressive tariffs, justified as national security measures. Supporters saw them as overdue protection for American workers and industries, pointing to reopened factories and jobs. Labor unions cheered, believing the president was finally fighting for them. But businesses and farmers argued the tariffs backfired, raising costs, hurting exports, and threatening livelihoods. The legal challenge claimed the president had overstepped, using a decades-old law to wage a trade war without Congress. The core question: did the president have the power to impose such tariffs, or was this Congress's domain? The Supreme Court would decide. The chamber was silent as Chief Justice Roberts read the decision, a 6-3 ruling against the administration. The court declared the president's sweeping use of tariffs unconstitutional, sharply limiting executive power. The majority said Section 232 was for real national security threats, not broad economic protectionism. Congress, not the president, controls trade and taxes. The ruling drew a clear line: national security can't be a blank check for economic policy. In dissent, Justice Gorsuch warned the court was tying the president's hands in global affairs, but the majority insisted the Constitution's separation of powers must be respected. The decision was a direct check on presidential authority. The message was clear: no president is above the law. The nation's economic future would be shaped by Congress, not the White House alone. The reaction was instant and deeply divided. Business leaders and importers cheered, markets soared, and hopes for stability returned. For steelworkers and others in protected industries, the ruling felt like betrayal. Jobs and factories now at risk. Small business owners were split. Some relieved at lower costs, others worried about new competition. Consumer groups predicted falling prices, but for families tied to threatened industries, fear replaced hope. The decision exposed the reality economic policies create winners and losers. Across America, the ruling was personal, affecting paychecks, prices, and futures. The country's divisions deepened, even as the law was clarified. The Supreme Court had spoken, but the debate was far from over. 2 Americas emerged in the aftermath. In the weeks that followed, the ruling's impact rippled across the globe. Retaliatory tariffs eased, helping farmers and exporters, while steel and aluminum industries braced for layoffs. Legal experts hailed the decision as a landmark for checks and balances. The court reaffirmed, Congress, not the president, controls trade. The ruling shifted the debate from personalities to principles, reminding the nation that laws, not individuals, govern. The Constitution's framework of shared power endured. The economic debate continued, but the path forward was clear. No one is above the law. The Supreme Court had reinforced the foundation of American democracy.